Okay, well that's a good point. I didn't prepare anything, and I was gonna do a roast.
Oh no.
I was gonna do a roast. That's what I was planning.
Half of your act literally is a roast of how like discombobulated I am on stage. So.
And the other half is ice cream, so I'm covering both ends of the heat spectrum.
Okay, are we happy? Are we good?
I feel wonderful.
All right, guys, let's give it up for Will Wagner!
Wouldn't it be funny if I only played music today? Okay, this is what my set wasn't gonna be. It was gonna be a roast, right? So I was gonna be like, "Oh, Josh sitting," like a roast goes. I'm not doing that. Instead, I got hats. Right? So right now I'm doing an impression of myself because I have my hat on.
How many hats do you doing hats today?
It's an excellent question. This is hat number 2. Like, same impression, same guy wearing the hat, same guy wears hat, same impression, right?
Oh, West Coast.
So that's 2 impressions I've done of myself. Now this one, this is when I'm in Montreal. I've never been there, so I can only imagine this is what I would be like. We're moving a little hot right now. I'm gonna calm it down. So I was gonna ask you, instead of like doing the traditional roast, I was gonna ask you what you think is funny. Like, who has a thing that they think is funny, just a subject they want to hear jokes about?
Hats.
Hats? Great question. So this is what I would look like if I was in a different part of Canada. If I was in Vancouver, this would be me in Vancouver. But I would remind people that it's not a booth, it's a bout.
There's. I want to hear you talk about bears because there's a bear on that hat.
Oh, okay. So this is my nice hat. I only wear it when I'm really going out dressy. It's yellow. You've seen it. Oh, you know what else? I was going to talk about my favorite pickup lines, but I was going to really bring the mood down. Luckily, we started with some poetry that was real somber, so I'm going to keep that up. I worked as a bartender at Red Lobster. Hold for applause. No applause. Okay, so I'm responsible for my 3rd favorite pickup line that I've ever heard. Still no applause. I really thought, okay, girl walks in. She wants to get lobster bisque. I say, we don't serve lobster bisque. She goes, "In this Red Lobster." I'm like, the world is a flawed place. And she goes, "Can I get tomato basil?" I'm like, "Sure." And I go in back and get it, laughing at her the whole time. I bring it back to the forward. That's where we called the front of the store, the forward. It was all like Star Trek. And so we moved into 10 forward, and she's like, "Oh, I'll give you a credit card for the soup." And I take the credit card. I don't take it. I don't rob people at Red Lobster and get caught. And so I give it back, and I go, "Oh, there's a problem with your signature." She goes, "What's that?" I'm like, "Doesn't come with a phone number." Right? Right? We went bowling. I asked her.
So it works!
Yeah. So I beat her by 200 points. No second save. In my defense, right, I threw the first 5 strikes of game 1. I hadn't been bowling in years. At that point, you commit. You're like, either I have to pretend like I don't know how to bowl, or I throw a 300, and she's like, I'm never gonna date him again, but I gotta blow him. Like, he threw 12 strikes in a row. Like, that's gotta get something, right? And so I didn't go with that. I threw the first 5, and then we had game 2. I bowled through my legs. I only beat her by 130, but she got worse, so I was like, I'm not gonna date you anymore. If you didn't learn anything from that exhibition. Okay, that's number 3, right? Oh. So, when, this is if I was in the 1930s. So, my friend, when I wear this hat, he's part of my 2nd favorite pickup line, right? If the first pickup line, that was a direct offense, right? Like, that was just St. Louis Rams. That's football terms, right? Kurt Warner's Rams is offense. You're not stopping that. Like, oh, there's a problem with your signature. And then you're like, oh, what's that? I'm like, oh, cross field, pump fake, Hail Mary, landed nothing. But 2 is more what I like to call the power eye, right? So there was this girl who I went to high school with who was very forward about things. And her friend was in the backyard, very backwards about things. And she was like, that seems like fun. And so someone was walking back there, and she was covering the door because she's a good friend. And she has to pull him to the side, and she wants to make out with him. She puts her arm on his shoulder, right? Spike runs out of power eye. That's how you know it's a good formation. So she just directed him. She's like, "Look, I know I'm fat and ugly, but will you hook up with me?" And he's like, how do I respond to that? And then she leans in, she goes, you can put it anywhere. Now that's what we call the option. Because she shuffled it back to the running back, and out of nowhere, he's like, I don't know how to react to this. And sure enough, they were making out in no time. That's how I know it was number 2. It went better than number 3.
What is happening?
Hattening.
Hattening.
So my favorite pickup line is going to make you real sad. Okay, so I was at my friend's house, and his sister has had a crush on me for the longest time, and I would never do anything with my friend's sister because I'm a human being. So she's getting drunk, real drunk, and my friend's there, and he's hitting it off with her friend, and she doesn't like this. So there's no way to go through this easy. So he's getting blown in the backyard, and she runs back there and kicks him in the face. He's telling me a story. I'm like, hold on. Is she Eddie Gordo from Tekken? Did she go on one hand and capoeira kick you? Like, what the fuck was happening? Like, I was laying on the ground. I'm like, what? So you're in someone's backyard. You're like, can't get a blowjob. You know what? I better just lay down on the grass. Like, this was his plan. I'm like, you gotta deserve to get kicked in the face. Right? So she throws up and passes out by a tree. I'm waiting online for the bathroom. Can't wait to go home. She walks back in, looks at me dead in the eyes, puts her hand on my shoulder, goes, you have to make out with me. My mom's dying of cancer. And sure enough, I did. Okay? I'm not happy. Okay? But she Bill Belichick me. She found some rule I didn't know existed. It was like, if I take a knee on third down, I'm allowed to kick it through the uprights for 2 points as long as I have a punter. I'm like, who taught you the rules of making out with people? Oh. You know what? I'm probably running pretty late, but I'm also thirsty. And they said I wouldn't get a use for that Capri Sun that my nieces opened yesterday, but...
Is it a repackaged Capri Sun?
No, they opened up the straw and realized they already had a Capri Sun. We'll never figure that out. I'm gonna go with this one. So, I've done a lot of impressions today. This is what I would look like if I was dressed up as a character from Dumb and Dumber from the head up.
I was thinking more Dr. Seuss.
Right? I'm really good at impressions now, aren't I?
We brought different cookie.
Go feed Cookie Monster.
He has enough cookie.
He was gonna want different
So many cookies. He's like,
Offering of cookie.
You're not allergic to peanuts, are you, Cookie Monster? Anyone have an EpiPen?
I do.
Okay, good. Just making sure.
Very.
Oh my god, are we going to Jurassic Park?
Think about how long I teach you this.
That's an impression. You're gonna kill me! Where's Marie Opperman, bitch?
This is my topic. I'm not casting magic. This is my impression of me with hot cookies. If I lived in the South, You have a little bit of a draw. You know, things are small. Good. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Why is it funny?
I'm ashamed.
Oh my god.